All right, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So, going through you this morning, I woke up. It's a beautiful morning. All glory goes to God. Amen. Such a beautiful sunny morning, but it's colder than crap out. All right, so Social Security. You know, we've been watching Elon talk about vampires, right? These people must be vampires. They're 150 years old. They're still within the Social Security computers and everything. Uh, Depending on the situation, some people are entitled to that money. The family members of that person would get that money. But if not, and they were dead and their Social Security was used up, then yeah, there would be a scam there. But the system, when it started, was way back in the day. So what they did was when the computers when they started doing this stuff with the computers and computers came because before computers everything was on paper, like Elon Musk was saying. And then they had to store the paperwork. So when they did start Social Security, they started with the probably the first person that started paying into Social Security, whatever it may be. And it went off of that. They went off of the records that they had in the great underground secret vault that they have or whatever. But let's listen to some new information that is out. Now, this could have been a money grab. A lot of the professionals are saying what they're trying to do right now is illegal. It's a money grab. I don't know. But let's take a look at this video that I found this morning where they're talking about Social Security and why these people are not vampires. I do believe they are vampires and sucking the life right out of us. But let's check this out real quick. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me get this. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on. Bear with me. If I can get it together this morning. All right, here we go.
Shocking claims might not be what you expect. Today, we're breaking down what's really happening inside Social Security and why this matters for every taxpayer. Let's take a closer look. And if you like content that makes sense of financial news without the hype, hit that subscribe button. It really helps out. All right, so let's get into this claim. It all started when Musk, now leading Doge, a government efficiency project, posted on X claiming that a social security database listed millions of people over the age of 100, including some between 150 and 159 years old. He even joked about vampires collecting social security. At first glance, that sounds pretty outrageous. But here's where things get interesting. You see, the numbers Musk cited don't match up with real life data. The US Census recorded only around 80,000 people aged 100 or older. Meanwhile, Musk's claim suggests there are over 20 million centenarians in the Social Security system. That's more than the total population of Florida. So, what's actually going on here? Well, experts quickly pointed out a very simple explanation. It's not fraud, it's a coding issue. See, the Social Security Administration system runs on COBOL, an old programming language from the 1960s. And because COBOL doesn't handle dates well, sometimes when a birth date is missing or incomplete, the system just defaults to a placeholder. One of the most common placeholders? May 20th, 1875. That means in 2025, these entries show up as people being 150 years old. It's not that they're collecting benefits, it's just an outdated way of handling incomplete data. And here's another key fact that debunks this claim. Since 2015, the Social Security Administration has automatically stopped benefit payments for anyone listed as being over 115 years old. So, Even if a database mistakenly lists someone as 150, it doesn't mean they're actually receiving money. The vast majority of these cases are just data artifacts, not evidence of fraud. But then, let's take a step back. Why does this kind of claim gain so much traction? People are understandably concerned.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there are people within the Social Security that are 150 years old, which Elon talked was using them as they must be vampires if they're still alive. My question is, was it an active account? Meaning, was that account receiving payment? If it was receiving payment, and there's proof of it, which they're saying no, there might not be any proof. There might have been people in there that are really old, but they weren't receiving any more payment. And here's the real truth. If the guy that they're talking about that was 150 years old was some quadrillionaire and paid into Social Security or whatever, and they were still getting money drawn out of that account, if it was a family member of that gentleman that was 150 years old, there's no laws breaking, there's no fraud. The families are entitled to that money instead of putting it back in the government's pocket and other people's pockets. So we'll just have to wait and see what they say about it. I mean, you know, are they vampires? Are they alive? I don't know. Send out something to that address where this gentleman lives and see if you get a response, right? If a guy comes walking in and he's 150 years old, but he looks 30, then we got something. Then your vampires are real, right? That's the only thing I can figure out. Vampires, maybe the good book spoke of it, so maybe. But if it is an account that hasn't been drawn out of in many, many, many years, then it's just they didn't take them out of the system, the computer system. And computers make mistakes, folks, right? You remember 2002K or whatever it was, where all the computers were supposed to crash? And no, they didn't crash, but they did go on the glitch a little bit because the calendar or the in the computer didn't go that long. So everybody was thinking that the computer's dates or whatever would start all over again, right? So there might be something to that. Let's continue to see what they're talking about here.
About government waste, especially when it comes to Social Security. It's a massive program, paying out benefits to about 73 million Americans. And yes, there have been cases of improper payments, and some instances of fraud have been documented, though they represent a small fraction of total expenditures. A government audit found that between 2015 and 2022, about $71.8 billion in Social Security payments were made improperly. That's a big number, but context matters. The Social Security Administration's budget is in the trillions, and their error rate is just 0.84%. That's actually lower than most private insurance companies. So, while fraud and mistakes do happen, they are far from the crisis that some people make them out to be, and efforts to reduce them continue through government audits and data verification processes. And then there's the political angle. Some people are worried that these claims are being used to push for Social Security cuts without congressional approval. That's why it's so important to separate facts from exaggerations. The idea that massive fraud is bankrupting Social Security just isn't supported by evidence. What is true is that the program faces long-term funding challenges that need to be addressed. But those solutions involve policy changes, not chasing myths about 150-year-old beneficiaries. So then, where does this leave us? It's always good to question how taxpayer dollars are spent, but questioning is different from assuming the worst. And in this case, the claim just doesn't hold up. Instead of vampires collecting Social Security, What we're really seeing is an outdated computer system that needs modernizing. The real takeaway here isn't about fraud, it's about the need for better government data management. So, what do you think? Does this explanation make sense? Or do you still have questions? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more clear, no nonsense breakdowns of financial news. See you next time.
The average person sees hundreds of online ads daily. Here's how a man's life would change if he used Pi. Day 1, he would install Pi on his computer without spending a dime because
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Outdated computer system. Although there is mistakes within Social Security, a lot of people get dropped. Mistakes, computer, government mistakes. People have lost everything. Uh, we're going through it right now with Medicaid or Medicare. They dropped a bunch of people. These were legitimate people that were on Medicaid, Medicare, including myself. And they dropped these people probably because they're going through the same thing, misinformation, or people that work within these branches that have a grudge against you. And all it takes is one push of a button and your whole Social Security thing is all mixed up or disappears and your checks stop. This is what they've been looking and watching for, is these people to try and make a grab, a sleight of hand, a magic man that is going to memify you, hypnotize you, why they're stealing from us blind. Now, what you need to figure out is who's doing this, who's making the money grab, what country is this money being sent to, who do these people in our government really work for? It's not the United States of America's citizens. We know this much. Like I said, folks, from the day this country started, you had invaders, you had espionage, and you had spies. Most of your technology would not have been capable without Germany. You got it right. You want the truth? I'm smacking you in the face with the truth. Your United States scientists were not smart enough to create what they needed to be created. They had to take people from Germany, the scientists from Germany, and bring them here to the United States. Hofnauer, or whatever his name was, and numerous other scientists that came to America because they had to leave Germany. They were going to be killed or whatever. And that's when our technology really took off, is when these people came to our country and became our scientists and worked for the United States. So you might have people here that are collecting. I know exactly what they're trying to do. They might have people here that are collecting Social Security, but their ancestry links back to another country. And that's what the whole thing was. That's what, Now vampires, they might be. Who knows, right? If you live by the Bible speaks of it. So I don't know. Who knows? Do I believe vampires are? I think they've been sucking the life out of us for a long time. And now, the great Ernie Shell is back on YouTube. There's a lot of controversy going on with this whole Ernie Shell thing and his sickness or whatever. Was it made up for subs or views? Was it this? Was it that? Does he really have HIV? Who knows? But we are investigating everything and getting into it. And, Mr. Ernie Shell is going to have trouble no matter if he's in prison or out of prison. That's what happens when you just piss off too many people, or you do bad things or whatever. And even if he confesses to this madness, uh, it's his own madness, no one else's. And it's his private life. And he put his private life out there. He confessed to it. Why do people confess to things that they don't do? I don't know. I have no idea. And sometimes people lie just to lie, just to say, you're supposed to be the professional. Tell me if I'm lying or not. So we have a beautiful day today. As you can see, the sun is shining out there. It's just beautiful. Like I said, it's Ernie Shell's sickness. Don't let these people try doing their witchery, sorcery, giving it to anybody else. You know, we've been keeping a list of all these women that have been pretty pissed at Mr. Shell. So is there a connection there between now he comes out with all this stuff and now all these women are pissed because he never said anything? I don't know. Maybe. All right, there you go with the Social Security thing. That's why I asked, does Mr. Elon Musk know Social Security? Because you're going to cancel a lot of Social Security people that have legitimate rights to collect that money from their dead family. What was that? Was that a hummingbird? I don't know what that was, but they do have legit uh, claims to collect that money. So, is our government trying to pull a fast one on us? I don't know. We know there is uh, corruption within Social Security, but it ain't their fault. It's the computer's fault. The computer's outdated. The whole thing is outdated, and it's messing it up. The computer they're using is so old, it's probably messing up. And they need to revamp everything, and they need a new computer. And then you got to get all them documents into the computer, which I don't think. I think doing it this way is more efficient with a computer, yada yada, but it's more acceptable to hackers, and it's more acceptable to uh, certain weather that can cause a computer to lose data. So I don't know. It's pretty crazy if you ask me, but you got to start if you're going to change it and you're going to switch everything over to digital. Uh, then they better get started on it for the future of our children or whatever. And I can't see how Social Security or disability is going bankrupt. Folks, they've been saying this since I was a kid. I can remember my parents talking about it, grandparents talking. It is just a way to cause commotion and madness so they can steal. And that's probably the truth. That's probably the truth. I agree 100%. It probably is the truth. So who knows? Uh, I also want to say, I'll save it for another video. The Ernie Shell Chronicles, or whatever they call it. But it's a beautiful day out. All glory goes to God. It's chilly out. And I think we got more cold coming here in a couple days or something. And have a great day, folks. I'll be back with some outdoor videos and maybe feeding some squirrels and birds today. Uh, yeah, I hope they know what they're doing with Social Security. I just hope and everybody hates Social Security. I can't believe it, man. You know what? They're going to sing a different tune when they lose everything. They're going to sing a different tune when these people need to have operations or just they break down from work. The human body was not designed for certain stuff, and now the scientists are starting to come out and say, well, we think maybe we have a problem, right? We just weren't created for certain things, and that's true. So is it all breaking down? It might be. Can it be fixed? Sure, anything can be fixed with God, but it'll take a little time, that's all. Stay focused, people. Keep a good head on your shoulders, and keep going. And yes, we've caught many of these YouTubers. This is where we are creating an army. This is no joke for social media. Literally an army. Most of these hackers were watching. Even the police and federal government have come out and said that on the news out here, right? Even in the Delphi case, right? Doug Carter numerous times said, you're watching these people on social media. You're literally watching these people that are the cause of the madness. Hackers and just sickos, predators, numerous people. So, yeah, I believe it. I believe it 100%. Uh, and we're labeling it the YouTube cult, if not terrorist cell or whatever. I don't know. Right? I've already named the super spreader cells, which are terrorists. They're terrorists. If they know they're sick and they're running out throughout all America, going from state to state, getting people sick deliberately, that's terrorist act. So I don't know. We might be seeing that these people have been using diseases as a weapon. And if that's the case, then America and the United States has to compromise these people because your citizens were used in a war. And we had no idea we were even being attacked or anything, you know. So, yeah, very bad. All right, you folks have a good day. You're not going to get me, Satan. You're not going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about. You're not going to manipulate me. You're not going to do any of that. And I know you got a degree in all kinds of stuff, but what you ain't got a degree in is life. So have a good day, Satan, and all your followers. I ain't got time for you. God bless America. All glory goes to God. Amen.